SpongeBob might be the most important fictional character in my life. Maybe tied with Spider-Man and Aang. And Peter Griffin. Maybe. But SpongeBob has been there from the very beginning. He's my boy. I mean, check out my SpongeBob merch. I've got Bold and Brash, these wall crawler toys that I had when I was younger that I bought on eBay recently, this Squidward flag, the OG Lego SpongeBob, this light switch cover, this coffee cup, this squishy, this sponge holder in my kitchen, the shirt I'm wearing in this video. You get the point. I love SpongeBob. Even though I hit a bump in the road with Mr. Squarepants when I was a young teenager, the concept of liking SpongeBob was deemed uncool and childish. And it somewhat made sense. I mean, SpongeBob is a kid's show, and at that time in adolescence, it made sense to want to detach from childish things. But time passes quick, and I'm now in my early 20s, and it's nice to know that a vast majority of my age group grew out of the idea that SpongeBob was childish, and was actually a certified classic that held up extremely well. Mainly the first 3, maybe 4 seasons, of course. I bet newer SpongeBob has some gems, but after some of the clips I've seen, I'm sorta scared is. But old SpongeBob is a genuine comfort show. I could be blacked out in some bar, and if a season 1 episode of SpongeBob is playing on the TV, it may genuinely snap me out. We don't drink, boys. We chug. This is all to say, SpongeBob as a show has been really impactful to me. But the sponge also exists in a different space. SpongeBob, while being an iconic cartoon character through television and movies, has also created quite the legacy in video games. Now, in a previous video, I played through Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. Go check it out even though it's sorta dated compared to the newer videos. But still, go check it out. In that video, I talked about how the original Battle for Bikini Bottom was an important game in my childhood, especially when playing it with my cousin. So when Rehydrated was announced, I was hyped. Got the game, played the game, adored it, and then made a video on it saying how much I enjoyed myself. Of course. But not long after the release and subsequent success of Rehydrated, a sequel was announced, in the style of Rehydrated. Holy shit, SpongeBob games are f***ing back. Titans of the Tide is here too, but we'll get there. We'll get there, I promise. The initial gameplay looked awesome, and the idea that SpongeBob has a multiversal 3D platformer would have blown my mind several years ago. I mean, who would have genuinely guessed SpongeBob games would be revived like this? Not me, but do Nicktoons unite next? And the anticipation would come alongside it. But, as I said a moment ago, time passes quick, and it's been 3 years since the game is released. Okay, so I'm a little late to the party. But regardless, I'm excited to talk about this highly anticipated sequel that may have just started a whole new era of original SpongeBob and potentially other Nickelodeon games. Well, there's nothing else to do but dive in. This is a Spongebob Squarepants, The Cosmic Shake review in retrospective. Okay, before we dive into the game itself, we're gonna give it a little bit of background. Before the release of Rehydrated, it had been a decade since the Sponge had a new 3D platformer, with Truth or Square releasing at the end of 2009. Truth or Square video coming someday. Yeah, someday. But Rehydrated is pretty much a carbon copy of the original game, but with updated graphics. But this game introduced a new generation to Sponge's most peak game, thus creating the thirst for more. Rehydrated's success would lead to Nickelodeon greenlighting the development of a spiritual successor. The sequel would be announced in September of 2021 by THQ Nordic in their 10th anniversary showcase, again developed by Purple Lamp Studios. Isn't THQ well over a decade old? Is Nordic a completely different thing? I mean, I'm assuming they're celebrating Nordic, but like, I mean, can someone tell me? I'm too lazy to do the research. It wouldn't be until a game showcase by THQ in August of 2022 that gameplay would be revealed. Later in September, during a Nintendo Direct, funny enough, it would be revealed the game would release in 2023. So, 2023 would come along, and Shake of the Cosmic... I mean, what did I just say? Only a couple weeks after the new year 23, Cosmic Shake would release on January 31st to Switch, PlayStation 4, Windows, and Xbox One. The game would also release on PS5 and Xbox Series X/S a little bit later in October 23. It also would release on mobile. Who would have guessed? Throughout the wait between the announcement and release of Cosmic Shake, I experienced Rehydrated for the first time, and my hype for the sequel would continue to grow as time would go on. Honestly, I plan on making a Cosmic Shake video for a long time, actually playing through the game shortly after release, specifically for a video. Frankly, I took a step back from YouTube for a while, and with that, the projects I was working on at the time came to a halt, including Cosmic Shake. But I'm here making videos again, yeah! Thanks for watching, by the way. It genuinely means a lot. Please subscribe, please. When I saw Cosmic Shake was re-released on PS5 and I got a free upgrade, I thought it was time to dive back in. Before we fully hop in, I want to note I played this game through once on PS4 and then again on PS5. Hence, playing it twice, like I just said. I also think I said this a little bit earlier in the video, but whatever. My point is, I will be including notes from both of my playthroughs. I'm gonna try and decipher these old notes to the best of my ability, but I mean, just look at some of the shit I wrote. Alright, no further delay. We open to a very endearing title screen, showing Mr. Squarepants doing a little dancey dance, while Squidward is also there, acting all nonchalant. I'm already getting big Battle for Bikini Bottom vibes, and it's been like 2 seconds. Get over there! We open in Bikini Bottom one morning, as you would in Spongebob, and I gotta say the town is grabbing my attention. The graphics and design look really good. Spongebob awakes, excited to go to Glove World. He prances over to Patrick's to pick him up, but in typical Patrick lazy-ass fashion, he's not ready. So instead, SpongeBob goes to Sandy's dome to help her with some scattered tikis. Sponge is really fun to control. Not as fun as Mario and Odyssey, which I played right before this, but he still feels like Mr. Squarepants, and that's all that really matters. And I gotta say, after all this time, the voice actors still sound really solid. And I'm glad they're all here reprising their roles this time. Unlike last time.
You had me worried there for a bit, boy. Worried for me money, of course.
Ugh. After helping Sandy, which showed us some very endearing tutorial screens, Patrick is finally ready. The Sponge and the Star head off to Glove World, and shortly after, SpongeBob tries to approach some cool kids. Sponge, you're in your 30s, bro. Don't be approaching children you don't know.
There's something you need to know.
Please.
I'm Chris Hansen.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
After the kids bail on the situation, as they should, a mysterious wagon appears. SpongeBob, who decided he was living on the edge today, I guess, starts to rummage through the various objects within the wagon. And after a moment, his attention is drawn to a mysterious potion. Suddenly, the owner of the wagon appears, introducing herself as Madame Cassandra. She explains that the potion SpongeBob's holding is a magic bubble soap. The soap has the ability to grant wishes to the current user. Madame Cassandra is not being subtle though, showing signs of an ulterior motive other than just selling some magic soap. Something more devious. But, unsurprisingly, Sponge and Pat Rock do not pick up on it. Classic. Madame Cassandra reminds me a lot of Scarlett Johansson mermaid Mindy, but if she were evil and decided to be a strange fortune teller hippie. SpongeBob obliviously brings the soap back home, beginning a really fun cutscene where SpongeBob and Patrick begin to use the bubbles to grant wishes for all their friends. And in typical SpongeBob fashion, a 3 hours later comes on the screen. And I gotta say, I love how committed the developers are to staying true to the vibes of the source material. You can see it and hear it in various cutscenes and lines of dialogue throughout the game. Also, the close-up gross screens that were in the show are also here all throughout, and it's peak. I mean, just peak SpongeBob humor. Anyway, after those 3 hours, a crowd has suddenly formed, presumed to have individual wish bubbles floating in the air as well. Patrick, who suddenly decides to be Sherlock Holmes, looks at the label on the soap and realizes it belongs to King Neptune and should not be used by mortals. Practically the second after Patrick states this, shit hits the fan really fast. This is like end of Infinity War style shit hit the fan. A portal appears and sucks up tons of different parts of Bikini Bottom, the town now in complete disarray, now relying on SpongeBob and Patrick, who is now a cute little balloon and will float around SpongeBob as the story goes along, having really fun banter with one another all throughout the story to save the town. SpongeBob and Patrick's banter in each individual location and situation in their classic SpongeBob and Patrick way is really endearing, and it's just great hearing as a fan. And though this does reveal that SpongeBob will be the only playable character in this game, unlike 3 playable characters in Battle for Bikini Bottom, it is somewhat disappointing, but a lot of the moves used previously by Sandy and Patrick are incorporated in their own way in SpongeBob's moveset. I also love Patrick as a little balloon sidekick, so that helps. We are now open to explore what's left of Bikini Bottom. This hub world feels way more vast compared to Battle for Bikini Bottom. It makes me curious how far they could take a SpongeBob game with a longer development and a unique enough story to make it open world. Though the Bikini Bottom and levels we'll eventually go over are a huge stepping stone in the progression of SpongeBob video games, I'm really excited to check out Titans of the Tide, but we'll get there. I also want to reference something that's been bothering me and just appeared in my notes. Why is there no cheese parachute from the pizza box that is supposed to be a part of SpongeBob's pizza box glider? I mean, I get it. It could block some view, but what we got as our end result sorta bothers me, not gonna lie. I'm sorry, I just had to bring it up. The introduction of the dodge move helps SpongeBob move quickly and is best during combat once we get there. Okay, enough about some moves, let's get back to the story. We continue to explore Bikini Bottom, collecting a substance, in our game's shiny object, Cosmic Jelly. We learn from Madame Cassandra, who we find after roaming, that the Cosmic Jelly allows them to travel through different wish worlds, where their friends have been scattered across. So yeah, this is pretty much Spongebob Squarepants in the Multiverse of Madness.
Things just got out of hand.
Cassandra gives SpongeBob a costume to match that specific wish world, which happens all throughout, as well as a magic bubble wand to return them and their friends home. She sends us on our way to our first alternate universe through a portal, so we hop through. Once that sequence is over, we land in Wild West Jellyfish Fields. I love Western aesthetics, so I was stoked when we arrived. We are here to rescue Mr. Krabs. To find him, we learn to ride a seahorse, fight different jelly enemies, and interact with different NPCs throughout. Of the NPCs, this includes Mrs. Puff, who owns her own riding ranch. Of course she does. And this is where we learn how to ride the seahorse, earning a license, which is not normal for the sponge. So even though he broke through this barrier, he knocks the instructor, Mrs. Puff, accidentally away shortly after passing the test. Classic. The seahorse is fun to control, but you don't have a lot of power over the direction you fully go on. You can avoid stuff and shit, but it's somewhat limited. Still fun nonetheless. Once we do that, we set out for Manaphay, the main town in this western universe, whose soundtrack is coated. It's so spongy and westerny. I love it. Excited to hear the rest as we go along. Anywho, we arrive in a town and enter the Sappy Saloon. There, we meet Sheriff Sandy, an alternate version of our genius Texan squirrel, who protects Manaphay. Not long after meeting her, some jelly creatures invade the saloon. We act fast, defeating them swiftly, and this causes Sheriff Sandy to praise our performance. She challenges us to a cactus juice drinking contest. Cactus juice. Where have I heard that?
Drink cactus juice. It'll quench you. Nothing's quenchier.
Oh, Sponge is about to be faded. After competing with Sandy, the saloon runs out of cactus juice. So SpongeBob, who now has a deep thirst for the cactus juice, sets out into the world to retrieve more. And I want to say, even early in this first world, I can tell SpongeBob's controls and moveset are quite unique. Though he's not as agile and doesn't control as well as Mario and Odyssey for instance, he makes up for it with a lot of his different abilities and unique combinations each of them bring when combined. I sort of referenced that earlier, but I just want to give a lot of props to how they made SpongeBob control in this game. It really felt good, and I hear it's really good in Titans of the Tide, so I'm excited. Okay, back to it. After searching around for a bit, we find Mr. Krabs. He asks us to go out and go after more cactus juice. So, Mr. Squarepants does, traveling around this Wild West in what is practically Sponge Dead redemption. In the process of collecting cactus juice, SpongeBob avoids falling pufferfish, fills juice barrels, and accidentally falls into a mining cave. In the cave, we run into a gold miner who asks Sponge to find his gold tooth. I don't really want to do this, but SpongeBob is a good ass dude, so I guess we will. It does not take long. Sponge finds it and returns it. In doing so, we're given access to the miner's elevator. Using it, we arrive back to the surface where we discover a train stealing cactus juice. So of course, we hop on, fight jellies on board, and learn Mr. Krabs is behind the theft. Wow, let me act shocked.
I don't know, Mr. Krabs. That sounds a lot like human trafficking.
Money, 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 money.
And this is the real Mr. Krabs, so he's just doing it for the love of the game. The SpongeBob humor throughout this game is great so far. Sheriff Sandy arresting Mr. Krabs, for instance, putting the handcuffs on him, but she wouldn't get to take him to jail. Vanishing in thin air with SpongeBob and Patrick, going back home. Sandy then says this:
I sure should stop drinking so much cactus soda on the job.
After vanishing from thin air, SpongeBob, Patrick, and Mr. Krabs arrive back in the normal Bikini Bottom. Another step closer to making things normal again. Something I really like about this hub world is the different parts of the world we have beaten, as well as the friends we saved are now present within and can be interacted with. It really fleshes out the world and makes me excited to see what else is going to be added. Overall, though it's early, I really like the start of this game. Though multiverse stories have sort of been all the craze throughout the 2020s, so far, it only made sense for SpongeBob to get a slice of the pie. I mean, it makes sense for his universe, especially the way that it's done here. Wild West Jellyfish Fields is really cool, though I do wish it differentiated from the hub world just a little bit more in terms of design and color scheme. Also, the world was very linear in terms of design, which again is fine but does feel limited in terms of realm ability, even compared to Battle for Bikini Bottom, which makes me somewhat uneasy for the rest of the way. And by the look of the map, there are 8 total worlds we'll travel through throughout our journey, including the hub world, so I guess we'll see what happens. Sorry for the ramble, I felt I needed to give my 2 cents before we dive deeper into the game. So yeah, let's get back on track. After a little exploring in the hub world, we then travel to our next alternate universe. Karate Downtown Bikini Bottom. Bit of a mouthful, but we're dressed in SpongeBob's typical karate attire. We are here to save our Sandy. When we arrive, we discover that downtown has been transformed into a karate-themed movie set. And as an aspiring director, I really enjoy the aesthetics that we're seeing here. We are first greeted with the film's assistant director, an alternate Pearl, and we are thrown in as the main star of the film, told to go greet the film's director. So we do, having to follow the red carpet to meet him. It takes some fighting, but we arrive to the main part of the set and meet up with Squid Von Hammerschmidt, the director. That's hilarious. We actually run into Madame Cassandra after, for some reason, who tells us to bring her more cosmic jelly. We already know you greedy bitch. Thank you. And we continue along the set filming scenes. This concept is actually really interesting, like the side-scrolling, stay in frame aspect of the world. I like acting as a karate actor as you fly through enemies in a new addition to SpongeBob's moveset. It's a nice change of pace in the gameplay. The kicking is honestly goated, allowing you to parkour around with it, which is so fun to use in combos against enemies. It's honestly quite OP. After some fighting, we finally come face to face with Sandy, and well, for her, it's on sight. This whole level has so many references to the dojo episode, and this greeting with Sandy is the cherry on top. But instead of Sandy being on our side, we're the ones fighting her. Funny enough, Karate Island is one of those post-movie episodes that I remember vividly still to this day, even though it is kinda mid, but it does have its moments, genuinely. Like, Sandy's badass the whole episode. So it's cool they have this level pretty much referencing that episode the whole way through, because it is kinda underrated, even though it's mid a little bit. So we whoop up on Sandy in a pretty fun boss, ending the level, bringing her back home. Again, it's cool to see the continuous additions to the hub world as we go along, including the rescued characters who actually give us little missions to do while we're roaming around. But gotta save more of our friends, so we get into a pirate fit and arrive in Pirate Goo Lagoon. There we find Larry the Lobster, the anchovies, and Fred, the guy who says, "My leg," you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? The soundtrack here slaps, and frankly the whole game soundtrack rocks. Each feels unique for their setting, but sounds SpongeBob all the same. They can get a little repetitive, but they're still good. They're still good. As we travel through this beachy land, through slingshotting a lot of times, as well as the bubble surfboard, we also run into the Flying Dutchman, who we find out has had his ship stolen by Admiral Prawn. SpongeBob attempts to team up with Dutchman to try and get the ship, and we find out Sponge's pineapple as well. Dutchman can't though, distressed about his missing socks prawn throughout, so we agree to find them. So we do, a whole chest of them in fact, joining Dutchman's crew. So time to lock in. We traverse from ship to ship in the air, finally arriving to Dutchman's stolen ship to face off against Prawn and his jelly crew of course. So we clap cheeks and get the pineapple back, ending our journey, saving Larry as well. The Pirate Goo Lagoon was fun and quite beautiful, but frankly, it's a bit bland on the pirate side of things. But environment and color do help make up for it. Probably the most visually pleasing level in the entire game. I didn't initially know how to feel about this level to start out, but I actually really enjoyed it. A true boss battle would have been nice though, because we really only fight the crew. But on to the next world. Actually no, we're not. Krabs makes SpongeBob chef up Krabby Patties for customers, in a simple and weird but fun minigame. Ah, Krabs. Even in a multiversal disaster, he's still greedy as shit. Anywho, after getting dressed as a flower in our next meeting with Cassandra, we head to the next universe to find Gary. Sponge thinks because of his fit, they're going to a calm, beautiful world, so of course, we don't. Instead, we end up in Halloween Rock Bottom. When we enter, we're told about a monster. A trail is also left behind, one that SpongeBob can tell is from Gary, so they decide to follow it. And in this world, we learn to sneak around and scare and shit, I guess. It's somewhat fun, but I'm not really a fan of this gameplay structure. Randomly, it's like Timmy Turner in the Nicktoons Unite DS game, and it's probably my least favorite part of the game. Video coming soon! I do like the scaring part though. Boo, bitch! Also, we learn to turn into a snail for some reason. What is this game? But before we find Gary, we gotta do some other missions, including finding candies, through trick-or-treating, which we actually get to see the chocolate guy, which is a dope reference. We compete in a snail race, and turn on some lights in the city. We then meet up and help an alternative version of Sandy, named Candy. Kind of a stripper name, but okay. And she tells us the Rock Bottom Museum is a snail lair, so Gary could be there. Candy opens the museum when we finish helping her reset her Monster Theater puzzle, who ends up being the hash-slinging slasher, by the way, which I think is a great cameo. We then head inside and discover Gary is the monster. Can't say I'm really surprised. And we have to fight him. Now, we don't technically beat Gary, but instead do just enough to teleport him back to Bikini Bottom. Only, when we get back, Gary is still giant and acting crazy. What the hell? I mean, I love it though. I mean, he's just hanging here and doesn't let us get close. So, I guess on to the next world, dressed as a caveman. So is Patrick, who's just looked adorable all game. I've also forgotten to mention Patrick will bring us extra lives when we need it, like the goat he is. We then jump in a portal and arrive in prehistoric kelp forest. This area is fun and unique in playstyle with the rock rolling, tongue sliding, sorta, and different types of parkour. I do wish, as I've been sorta talking about previously, things weren't so linear. But I'm still having a fun time here. The lava rock rolling is definitely the most unique addition added in this level. It's easy but fun to control. Our boss in this world is a Cave One Pearl, who is sort of a pain in my ass, actually being somewhat difficult. Cool boss nonetheless. We defeat her and save Squidward, who funnily forgot how to speak English and talks like a caveman. We talked like it too, but seems like Squiddy will have a more difficult time going back. Uh-oh. We are then sent to a medieval times themed world, like the one goated episode, dressed as a jester.
I can do a most wonderful jig. Observe.
This medieval world is called Medieval Sulphur Fields. Say that 5 times fast, damn. We are here to rescue Pearl, who is taking advantage of the situation, having a slumber party, and we have to traverse around the castle and ride down a rainbow slide from the sky into Pearl's bedroom to join that party. But we don't even get inside. Pearl closing the window on us, knocking us down, Game of Thrones style.
The things I do.
Slumber party.
My leg!
Bitch ass Pearl, self-centered ass bitch. SpongeBob is trying to save you. Anyway, when back outside the castle, the alternate Squidward, Squidnote, says the boys are not allowed in the castle. Squiddy requires us to go to the courtyard stables. We then break the magic bubble wand, so that's another thing we have to figure out. To fix it, we run into a witch named Twitchy the Witchy, who requires us to collect her pre-aging cream, and by the close-up we get of her, yeah, she needs that shit, so let's get it. And shocker, we do. Her fixing our magic bubble wand as a result. Then, after some random circumstances where we have to validate Squiddy's creative talent, and do, no matter how garbage he kinda is, he allows us to enter into Pearl's slumber party, which, unsurprisingly, needs to be saved by us. From Twitchy the Witchy, actually. To do that, we have to serve cake. Oh, word? Sounds easy enough. Spoiler, it was not easy enough. But doing so does defeat her, allowing us to grab Pearl and return back to Bikini Bottom. Now that it's over, I thought that the world was beautifully designed. The horse chase was fun, but I do wish it was a bit more difficult. But now, we're on to the last world, Jelly Glove World, an alternative version of where this journey started. Neat. A full circle moment. We end up here after Patrick is disconnected from us and is in need of saving, as well as the Krusty Krab. Throughout the world, SpongeBob is tasked with playing several carnival games, and we defeat a lot of jellies in the process. We also use the reef blower here, which is goated. Once we progress, we get trapped in the Glove World jail, but defeating the squid jelly allows us to get out, and we use a slingshot sending us to the Krusty Krab, coming face to face with Glovey Glove, who has kidnapped Patrick to be his best friend, forever. We gotta save him. And the restaurant that pays us under minimum wage. I guess. A battle between us and Glovey Glove ensues, and of course, we put belt to ass. But SpongeBob, being as wholesome as he is, tells Glovey Glove that he has friends that care about him, not just Patrick. Aw, Sponge, that's sweet. This allows us to leave this world, saving Patrick and the Krusty Krab, returning to Bikini Bottom. At this point, we have enough cosmic jelly that Madame Cassandra may be able to do something about our situation. But, no. Turns out, she's a bitch. Surprise, surprise. It's not like we didn't see it coming. But we find this out a little too late. King Neptune suddenly arrives, berating SpongeBob for trusting her, explaining that she wants to control the 7 seas and stole the magic bubble soap. Bro, how do you expect SpongeBob to know that? King Neptune doesn't get to do much here though, getting trapped by Cassandra and Jelly. In the process of this mess, Squidward, for whatever reason, though I can't say I'm surprised, begins to lash out at SpongeBob and Patrick for what they've done. Hey Squid, not the time, okay? But Squid drew too much attention to him, Cassandra seeing an opportunity to turn him into her minion. Squidward, no! After she does, we are teleported into the middle of a wormhole, where we come face to face with Cassandra and Jelly Minion Squidward, whose boss art goes hard? Why does this go so hard? It almost makes me not want to pull out my belt. But I do, putting belt to ass again on this crazy looking Squidward, little rage muffin. This boss is quite fun, defeating Cassandra, her getting sucked into the portal afterwards. This allows King Neptune to be freed from the jelly, Squidward to be turned back to normal, and Patrick suddenly beginning to deflate and fly into the sky above. As a reward for defeating Madame Cassandra and saving Bikini Bottom, King Neptune gives SpongeBob the opportunity to make one wish with a magic bubble soap. Hype. SpongeBob can get his finally highly coveted driver's license. Or something for one of his friends, or Mr. Krabs, or I don't know, his parents maybe. But no. He doesn't even get the chance to make a wish. Patrick ends up landing back on the ground, turned back to normal. And when he does, he inadvertently wishes to do the whole journey all over again, much to the 3 others' horror. The bubble floats up, hangs for a moment before popping, granting Patrick's dumbass wish. So that ends it. This ending is hilarious, and it really feels like one SpongeBob would have. Frankly, such a fun-ass experience. I know there's post-game content and costumes and yada yada yada, but this was mainly for the completion of the story. I just kind of want to put that out there. I know there's more stuff. I know there's the Plankton missions with his dog Spot. I didn't do all of that. You know, I did a lot of parts of it. I know I'm gonna get people commenting about that being not a part of the full retrospective, and I totally understand that, but this is more just about the story and my experience going through that. But I understand, and I think a part of me wants to come and revisit this story in this game one day. The SpongeBob games are a hard series to kind of replay consistently because, again, they're licensed games, but they also are repetitive in their style of gameplay, and once the story's done, it's just kind of like, if you don't want to 100% it, what are you kind of doing? Like, I 100%ed Battle for Bikini Bottom, Rehydrated, and I had a great time doing that. But Cosmic Shake is a bigger game, there's more stuff I feel like to do, but once I dive in, I think eventually, it'll be gratifying, and I definitely recommend anyone checking it out. But we're here, we're at the end, It's crazy we're at the end, but we're here. So, Sweet Victory is fittingly playing as the credits roll. Let's wrap this baby up. So here we are, the end. Spongebob Squarepants The Cosmic Shake was an extremely pleasant surprise. 8-year-old me only wishes this game existed back then, because I would have loved it, especially because I love it now. The fact that Spongebob of all video game IP is getting some of the most love and care in the creation of new 3D platformers is sorta dumbfounding for me. But I guess it makes sense. Spongebob as a property, according to YouTuber EmpLemon in his masterful video about Spongebob in 2018, Spongebob as a property rakes in about 5% of Viacom's annual revenue since 1999 on average. Spongebob at this time made 5% of Viacom's annual revenue. As a property, Viacom owns different companies like, CBS and, Nickelodeon. And, I mean, now they own all this different shit because they're all under the same branch now with Cartoon Network and, Warner Brothers and all this stuff. They're figuring all that out. It's a crazy mess. But SpongeBob making that much money for Viacom, even at that time in 2018, is crazy. I don't really know if it's gone up or down since. I bet it's probably gone down a little bit since 2018, being that SpongeBob may not be as big. I feel like maybe it's gone up. I don't know, but they've added more assets, so it would make sense if it went down a little bit. But again, the fact that SpongeBob alone can bring in that much money is a testament to his character and how important he is in pop culture. That includes the many video games he's been in, that millions have their own connections and stories for each one. Like my cousin and I with Battle for Bikini Bottom. I'm very happy SpongeBob has been given a new life in this space, and so far it's been a welcome one. I know there's another game that's been released, so I'm stoked for that later this year. It's not coming out later this year, I'm making a video later this year. To make that make sense. But in general, I'm excited to see the future of SpongeBob games that may have opened the door for other Nicktoons games to come back too. I thoroughly enjoyed my experience throughout this game, but frankly, most of the game felt way too linear for my liking. Not that it's necessarily a bad thing, but at the end of the day, I would love to explore the worlds more. I'd love more of an open world feeling. The Bikini Bottom hub world was kind of the closest to that, and it was a little bit smaller in comparison to maybe some of the bigger levels in the game, but I feel like there's so much potential here, and I keep bringing up the Nicktoons, Nicktoons Unite property, but I feel like there's so much potential there, and free roam with these characters. I don't know. Nickelodeon, you got a gold mine, I'm just saying. Well, Sponge, see you in Titans of the Tide. If you made it this far into the video, I want to thank you so much for watching. These videos take a lot out of me, so any support, whether that's liking, commenting, or especially subscribing, please click that subscribe button, maybe even the notifications. It's greatly appreciated. Even meme my face from these videos. My friends love doing that. Anyways, as always, I'm Drakey Berg. Have a good night.